now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio.
Just want to make sure that I take the time out to thank everybody that is online listening. We have so much love overseas. We have so much love throughout the States, and the chat room is filling up. Phone calls are lit. It's a beautiful night tonight on the Late Night Buzz. I am Brandon, and thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. You know what? Like I said, I've waited a lifetime to be able to say just thank you to this young lady. And this young lady has did so much for me, and she didn't even know me up until this point in time. So without further ado, I want to welcome the Late Night Buzz, the beautiful, talented Miss Dawn Robinson in the house.
Hello. Yes, hello, you guys. Thank you for what an introduction. I mean, I need to get off the phone now. That's it. I just needed that introduction. I'm good. I'm good for the rest of the evening. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. It was warm.
Well, you know what?
It was very warm.
Well, I'm about to make you smile some more. So throughout this Q&A session that we do have, I just really want to just say thank you for giving us your gift. I mean, letting us into your life, because so many people want to pull you here and there, and so many people want to, flood you with a whole lot of different things, different types of things. But when it's all said and done, I mean, you have a God-given talent, and you gave it to us to be able to hear. So I want to thank you for allowing us on that too.
I thank God for giving me that talent, and I'm so, sometimes you just kind of take it for granted because it's what you have, and you don't think that it's anything special, and then I sometimes compare myself. I get insecure, and I tell people all the time, they're like, well, you're a professional. You shouldn't be so insecure. It's not that I'm so insecure, but sometimes I get a little bit intimidated, and I have to remember what I have.
Right.
And I'm constantly talking to my publicist and my mom and different people about, am I, comparing myself to others, and I really shouldn't do that. When I hear people express themselves about what I do or have done, the way you just said, I'm like, okay, you know what? I just have to be grateful for what I've been given and hone that craft and make myself better and just be grateful, really, truly grateful. So I appreciate you guys for appreciating me, in a big way. I would be just Dawn Robinson without you guys, without the fans,
And I think every time that you start your journey, your public journey as far as doing what you do, I know there's a sense of, just trying to figure out how this journey is going to go, from the ins and outs, the ups and downs, to everything that's in general. So, I mean, just for me, because I always take music as a gift and the inspiration, and it's just knowing that me and you, we go back since tapes, In Vogue, the first one, Don't Let Go, like me and Don go way back there. So it's
yes.
So it's always been one of those things where I just really feel like as you've grown vocally and musically, it's just kind of like, I've always been there to support. So, anytime that I have an opportunity to express my gratitude and show love and help promote your brand, I am all hands on deck and ready to do it. So we're going to have some fun.
Exactly. Thank you. Well, I'm honored again, and I appreciate you guys for appreciating me.
Indeed. Well, now.
The signal keeps going. Yes, exactly. The signal keeps going in and out, so some of it I lost, but I heard the gist of it. Sorry about that.
No problem. But now, you know what? R&B Divas LA is out. The first episode is done. So,
oh my gosh!
Now that it's out, and that first episode is here on TV One. People can check it out Wednesdays, 10/9 Central. Check out your everything. How do you feel about this first episode?
I can't believe it. It's like it feels, the whole thing feels like I'm just out brand new, like everybody just found out about En Vogue for the first time or something. It's brand. You just said a little while ago, anything that's new that you're starting, it's a new venture. You kind of compare yourself with stuff, and you're not too sure where you stand. It wasn't the initial idea was not for me to do a reality show. Like, I still can't believe I did it, and I think taking that huge chance to jump in with both feet, it was like, okay, you have to have faith. I really did have faith. I'm like, okay, I know who I am, and my family knows who I am, and they know how they raised me. And people that know In Vogue pretty much know us for it, for the most part. You really don't get the gist of someone through interviews the way we've done over the years, but you
Right.
pretty much know our personalities. You haven't heard anything in the press with us and all kinds of craziness with the 4 members of our group, so I'm very proud of that. Considering who I am and what I've come from as far as In Vogue and Lucy Pro as well,
Right.
I pretty much figured if I do this reality show, everybody knows who I am. So if there's anything, because what it is that you're not so afraid of the show itself and what you do, your actions are what they pick up. If they film it, then they get it on film, and that's you. If you acted a fool, then they get that on camera. But if you didn't act a fool and you were just yourself, you're good. But at the same time, we kind of saw, you kind of think, okay, how are they going to edit things? That's the biggest concern with us. It's like you can say all kinds of stuff on camera, and who you are is who you are. But how they piece it together, your reactions to certain things, how are they going to help you make you react to stuff? Did you actually react that way, or did they get a close-up of some other time that you reacted to something different and piece that together? It's a little scary because you're putting your life and your livelihood and what you've built, your career, in the hands of other people, and you have to trust that. So, so far, I'm like, I trust God so much, and I have so much faith. I'm not highly religious, but I believe in God, and I'm very close to Him, and my relationship is very strong. Yeah, so I just put my life in His hands. I was like, you know what? Obviously, you led me down this road. Initially, they asked me to do Atlanta Divas, and I said, 2 things are wrong with that picture. I don't live in Atlanta, and I was doing a project with Maxine at the time, so I didn't want to abandon that project, and I just decided to go ahead. They came to me 8 months later and said, well, okay, we have R&B LA. What do you think about it? And I thought, okay, I'm no longer working with Maxine. This is an opportunity to be put out in front of the world again, to let people, the kids who don't know who the heck In Vogue or Lucy Pro is, they weren't even around. They're like 15 years old. We came up 22 years ago. So those kids have no idea who, and it's crazy to say because I'm like, huh? You don't know us, but yes, there's a lot of people that have no clue about who we were or who we are. We'll always have that legacy. And I just thought, okay, you know what? This is an opportunity to do a commercial. What I was told is like it's a commercial for your life of where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. And you might as well take that opportunity to shed light to people that don't know you or who forgot about you. You've been gone a long time. Just to let them know, hey, I'm still here. I still take good care of myself for the most part, and I sound good still. So I want to get out in the public eye and start mingling with people and letting the world know I exist.
You sound good. You look good. Your voice is one where we could never forget. I mean, the blessing that I feel that we have, and we have Don Robinson on the Late Night Buzz, is that you have countless of songs, and of course you said In Vogue and Lucy Pearl, and even your own project solo is a lot of hidden gems, and a lot of people, of course, if followers like myself will always appreciate it. And I'm glad you mentioned.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. And the way you said reality shows that's been in the past, and you just basically mentioned a lot of uncomfortable things as far as, how are they going to edit me and things like that. So your comfort level, taking that chance in this is a good journey, I guess you could say, right? I mean, as far as from the first episode, it feels like, okay, well, this is going to be the start of a journey as far as the start of, tune in and see. I mean, kind of worried about how things are going to go. It feels like a journey to you, right?
It really does. I mean, that's life. I mean, sometimes you have to go with the flow, and you can't always question. Everything is not going to be set up so perfectly. Like with En Vogue, everything for me was very strategic. It was rehearsed, backwards and forwards as far as rehearsal, as far as tours were concerned, and doing press, and everything was very strategically planned with us. We really were on top of our game, and people, our handlers, as I call them, around us made sure that everything was on point. But it also crippled us to know how to do things on our own.
Right.
So now we live in a world where, everything is online. You create your own, you have your fan base. You can have them go right to your page and buy the music directly. You can put up a PayPal account, put up new music, like I heard you playing Set It Off, which is one of my favorite songs on my solo album. I love that song. Makes me so happy. It was sunshine to me. That song is sunshine. It's a sunny day. It's driving down a country road in the summertime, just chilling, or by the ocean. It's that kind of song that makes me feel good. So thank you for playing that. But if that was a new song for me and I just recorded it, and the world hadn't heard it yet, I could put that right up on my PayPal account, or my website, and put up a PayPal account, tell my fans it's there, and bam, they're buying it from me directly.
Absolutely.
You no longer have to have the record company. So things have changed quite a bit, and you got to be independent. So I'm kind of like, I'm probably the most courageous out of the group to do that kind of stuff, like just step out and say, look, things weren't going right with En Vogue, which is why I left. I mean, you'll find more out about that on the reality show, but, you know,
Right.
I was tired of it. Everybody else was making so many millions, and we were barely making anything at all. It really was highway robbery. So, you know, that to me was like, oh boy, you got to figure out something else. And again, when you are trained, because I'll say that's what it was. We were trained to be the kind of group we are. We had our choreographers and our, not speech coaches for verbatim, but like people that would tell us how to stand. Cindy had done a lot of pageants in her early years, and so you know she told us how to stand and bevel our foot in a certain way so that when we stand, we all have the same. And after a while, I was like, wait a minute, where am I in all of this? I can't. I know that there's no I and we, and I get that in a group situation. But I still wanted to speak on things that the group may not have agreed with, or sing about stuff that they may not have liked, or Terry may have had ideas about. We never, you know, kind of stepped away from the group dynamic. So that kind of, again, it crippled us to learn how to do things on our own and be independent and figure things out for ourselves, you know.
Right, and I think that's important too, especially because at the end of the day, of course, you are part of a group, and it is one voice, but also you do have, you know, especially with a group of 4, you have your own individual voice as well, and we all know because and to me, Dawn, that's the one thing that I really respect out of you and you know and all the other people that's been part of a group is the fact that you guys sacrificed a whole lot. I mean, financially too, for the most part. And you know, just to give us all the hits that you guys have and all the things that you guys have accomplished with awards and videos and this, that, and the other, you guys took a journey and took a sacrifice on that too, and just being able to see you still continue to have a passion that you do have, and of course, like we said, your God-given talent, this music gift that you have. It's really appreciative for you to still continue to do this, and still have a passion to do it.
Exactly. I'm grateful. I mean, I couldn't imagine not doing this. It's like any day that I think I want to complain, I just think of people that really wanted, at the time we came out, you're talking about 1990, I was at a concert when someone asked me if I could sing and brought me to the audition for En Vogue. Out of all the women that were there that day at that concert, 22,000, 25,000 people, and he asked me, and I became one of 4 members of a group that has stood the test of time, still with our name and likeness, that people love us to death, and that the world knows our names, like literally, not just as a group, you know, En Vogue, but individually, Cindy, Maxine, Terry, and Dawn. That is amazing to me. I do not ever, not once, take that for granted. It's just, there are so many Bay Area singers. There's a lot of talent in the Bay, as you know. There's, you know, Tower of Power, Slide and Family Stone, the Tonys, Tony, coming up. Journey came out, you know, so Metallica. There's so many groups, so many artists that came out of there, Pebbles. And here I am in a group situation. I made an audition and made a name for ourselves. We made a name for ourselves as a group. So, you know, again, who am I not to share that? This is what I do. I love to sing. I was born doing it, like we said, born to sing, and literally I take that, you know, seriously. I don't stalk at that at all. Like, you know, 'cause sometimes you get it down on yourself because I'm human like everybody else. But I'm like, no, Dawn, you got the nerve, really. You're doing your dream. You are literally living your dream. You were at a concert one day, and then next thing you know, everybody knows your name. You got hits on the radio. Like, come on. What? That's a beautiful life, and I'm grateful. Very grateful.
And as a guy that is born and raised in the Bay Area, trust me when I tell you that, you know, it's, you know, I've seen you guys perform, you know, a couple of times, and, you know, I've always basically had you know, me and you, because your birthday is November 24th, mine is November 28th, so I always kind of felt like, you know, one of those kind of things where I felt like a little bond with Dawn, even though she didn't know who I was. kind of felt that like a little bit, you know. So
brother from another mother, exactly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So when us as fans, and we all know this, you know, the journey that you're in, the public perception that a lot of people have, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. It's up to us as fans to really be able to take ownership, especially nowadays with the music industry being the way that it is, you know, the established fan base that you have, and even schooling some of these young people to, you know the history, not just of, you know, En Vogue, Lucy Pearl, you know, everything that you've accomplished, you know, solo, but also just to admire and appreciate the voice that you have, right? It's up to us as a fan base, correct?
Well, I mean, not everybody's going to appreciate it. I have to know that, too. And I had to kind of break that to my mom, probably the 4th or 5th year En Vogue was together, that Mom, not everybody's going to love En Vogue just because you do. Oh, everybody loves. No, Mom, think about that. Like, there are some people that really won't like En Vogue, just like there were some people that didn't like the Supremes or the Marvelettes or whoever else. And Marvin Gaye, you can think of any artist. It takes different types of people to like different types of music, and some people will not like your daughter. You know, so I can't expect for you guys to, but yeah, I mean, if you're feeling my voice, and that's just like a blessing for me, you know. Again, and I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, you did. You did perfectly, because I mean, personally, Dawn, I don't know who wouldn't love your voice, but you know, those people. Hey, you do you.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
So with R&B Divas LA, and it's on TV One Wednesdays, 10/9 Central. People can definitely check it out. With the fan base that we have talked about, new and established, and the new ones that's actually really appreciating, you know, your sound and who you are. What message do you think the R&B Divas LA brand will tell these people when it's all said and done?
Well, I can't speak for the brand of LA Divas. I can only speak for me. I mean, you know, they gave us the name of a show, and that just happens to be what it is. But I've been a funky diva for many years, so
Amen.
You know, and really, I have to give us credit because we created the name was created already within the opera world, and rightfully so. I mean, there's so many amazing opera singers that earned that name. So that's why we didn't even feel like we were divas, because we felt like we hadn't earned it yet. We're still learning. We were new, and it was our second album, and it was 1991, and people were still, they loved us, but we were still building our career at that time. So we were like, we're not divas yet. So we put the funky in front of that, and it became Funky Divas. And the world took diva and that name from the gay community to divas simply singing, to VH1 divas, to, you know, divas of soul. It's like, it's been that whole diva thing forever. So I got tired of the name, and I thought, okay, well, it'll fade out by 97, 98. Here we are, 2000, 2007. I'm like, no, it's still here. What? 2012, 13. So here we are. And obviously it means something to people. That name is really strong. But on the show, I don't know. I really want people to see, and I know they will. I hope they will. I shouldn't assume, but I hope that they see who I am, the strength that I've always had to stand up and have courage. A lot of people assume, and they're angry at me because I left En Vogue. You destroyed my group. You should have stayed and worked it out. And how y'all couldn't be amicable with one another. And the other girls seem to get along. And it's like, no. The other girls, Cindy and Terry, just sued Maxine. The other girls had a lawsuit, and you know, they sued her. And that's one of our sisters. I put out a statement to my publicist saying, I'm very sorry to see all this stuff transpire between you guys. Right. Just, to me, should have been worked out much more amicably. But there was too much anger, and because I would always say this to the girls, if we don't deal with this stuff that's thrown under the carpet, the lies and the manipulation and all the stuff that has happened, me being blamed for En Vogue, one of the biggest things, I'm just so tired of carrying that weight because it wasn't rightfully put upon me. And if we can't work this out and deal with it and really take accountability for each of us doing whatever it was that led to this point, then I'm stuck with this, and I don't want to be in the group. I don't want to be around this. I can no longer do En Vogue because to me it's a lie. The public thinks, we love your music, but business-wise I had to be right. I had to make sure that things were right for my future because staying with the group gave me 2 pennies an album. And each of the girls, same thing. So when people are like, you guys only made 2 pennies, like it's a shock. The world is shocked to hear that, but it's true. And the girls never wanted, especially Terry, she always wanted to protect the image and the perception of En Vogue. And I get it. I really do. But the reality is that that's what it was, and we deserve to have more. and that didn't work out. So on the show, you're going to learn about a lot of that history and why, and in the interviews I've been doing as well, why, I was considered difficult. Yes, I was absolutely difficult. I want T-shirts that say Dawn Robinson is difficult. It was difficult because I should have been postal. And I want that on the back of the T-shirt. I should have been postal, really, because when you're making hundreds of millions of dollars for a label and you're only getting 2 pennies, there is something very wrong with that picture. And even the producers that put us together, one of which was dating Terry, like he's living in a mansion in Black Hawk. You know Black Hawk, down in the Bay Area. It's like, for the audience that doesn't know, it's like the most exclusive neighborhood in all of the Bay Area. It's like Bel Air for Los Angeles. Bel Air is to Los Angeles. That's what Black Hawk, yeah. And he's living like that, like a $20 million mansion, talking about, but it was only $8 million. Come on. So you got a deal.
Right.
I would love to have an $8 million deal like that. Like, I don't even have an $800,000 deal, let alone what he had. Yet he's making all the lion's share, and we're doing all the hard work. So the balance was off, way off. And so many artists end up like that. But I don't see it in the country world as much. I really don't. I don't see it even in the rock world. When I remember there's an article in a Rolling Stone magazine on Motley Crue. I brought it into the girls for them to read at rehearsal. We were in Hollywood rehearsing someplace for a tour, I'm sure, at that time, so long ago. But I think it was a tour. And I brought the article in. And usually when I read something, I highlight and underline and highlight in like yellow and purple and just anything that means something to me and to get the point across. And I couldn't do that because the article was on a black page with white letters. I just said, you guys, you have to read this. Motley Crue was signed to our label. They were on our label with us. Sylvia Rhone was at the head of the label, and they felt about her the way we feel about her, except they said it. They called her all kinds of names that I thought was unprofessional, but I understood what they meant. And they said, she's prejudiced. She doesn't like white people. It was the reverse of, we don't feel that way about her feeling that way about us. She's not prejudiced. She's a black woman. Very, very powerful. And we admired her, but she didn't make sure that we were treated the way we should have been. And we could have been still probably with the label and still together to this day had she made sure that other things were in place, as well as our managers, like I said, and producers, all of that stuff, the powers that be. So people are going to learn a lot about En Vogue that I've held on to, wasn't able to talk about. I was putting stuff in my book, and I have more details because you can only say much in a half-hour show.
No doubt.
And not only that, there's other people within that show dynamic. Like, Shantae has to tell her story, and Michelet has to tell hers, Kelly has to tell hers, Little Mo and Claudette. All of us have to tell. So you can only get so much. But there's a strength that I have that people may or may not know that I got from my mom. This is a woman that moved across country with my sister and I, not knowing very many people here, to move from Connecticut to the Bay Area, actually Oakland at the time, and put us in school, get herself a job, and then get a place within a 2.5-month period, because we were staying with my cousin and her husband in a 2-bedroom apartment. My cousin's sister came to stay with us as well. We all came from New London together. She was living with us there. So that's 4 people that invaded my cousin and her husband's space, and then my mother's best friend and her daughter came. So that's how many people? 8 people in one place. That was a lot, and we had to get out quick.
Wow.
Well, it was itchy real quick. It was like, no. Don't take a shower for 2 days because you don't want to waste your water. I mean,
my goodness.
Kind of pat yourself down. It was like that because my mom just wanted us to be very quiet. Don't eat too much. Just let's get out of here. And he wasn't mean or anything. They were very kind to us. But you start to get on people's nerves.
Right.
And it was just overcrowded. So she had to make it happen. And we drove out here and left everyone. Now, the biggest thing is that we left everyone that we knew. We came to people that we also knew, but we didn't know the lay of the land. We knew New London, Connecticut. We knew that backwards and forwards. We knew I could walk from one end of that city as a kid to the other. I knew how to get to my grandmother's house in the next city over. I mean, we knew how to walk through that city and get to where we had to go, from high school, junior high, elementary. Our church, our pastor, my mom's best friends, our best friends, all the kids in the neighborhood were out waving at us when we drove off. My godmother was like my mother. It was hard, and my mom knew, though, if she did not leave, her daughters would be like the other kids who were getting pregnant and having sex way too early. I was 14. She knew it was about that time. get her out of here because these little boys are fast and the girls Dawn hangs around with. Even though Dawn has a good upbringing, it's still the pressure is there.
Right.
So she got my sister and I out of there, and that strength to leave without a man in her life. Most women say, well, I don't have anybody to help me, and my job is only this. It's like you have to take courage sometimes to say, everything is not perfect. It's not exactly the way I would want it to be set up, but I'm moving. I'm leaving. I'm doing this thing. And that's why every day on Twitter I inspire people. I try to inspire people every day. You know, life is not easy out there. I know it's we get to live our dream every day. This is what I told Maxine when she saw my Twitter page. She's like, Dawn, you know, you inspire people. And I'm like, yeah, because life is not easy, and I know for them, they live through our music. We make them happy with what we bring to them and how we make them feel. I know how I feel with music. I have a ton of, I still have wax, okay? I have
hey, you and me both. You and me both. I still do, too.
Collection. Yes,
I have two crates filled with it, definitely. I do.
I love
really
it.
do.
Well, what are you playing on? Because I don't have a turntable. Hello. I'm like...
You know what? There is still some out there. You got to find them though. There's still turntables around. I have an old school one. Oh yeah, I got to talk to you about a spot where they have some. So I'm gonna have to track a good one down and send it to you. So there's still some around. Cause I'll throw some spinners. I'll throw some spinners on there real quick, Don. Trust me, I will do that.
Love it. Yeah. And the sound is just so different because you're used to hearing this clean sound with a CD, and it's not the same. It's not the same.
That's
I know
right.
I got off subject. I apologize, but
no, you're good.
Do you have a technique, like a technique turntable?
Yep, I do.
Oh, you got the best. Yes, you have the right one. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to send you a picture of one. I'm still a throwback old school kind of guy, so you know that
How do you find the needle to change the needle on it? Because you know the needle will wear out quick on you.
You would be amazed. There is a place out here not too far in San Leandro that still sells that stuff too.
San Leandro? No way. That's my mother.
Indeed.
My mother lives on Dutton Avenue. Wow.
Are you
That's
serious?
Crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
she lives right there.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I shouldn't have said that, but she's in there for years. All my friends in high school still go by and say hi to her every now and then. So she wouldn't mind.
I told you we have this little connection thing. It's Don Robinson is our
yes,
guest on the Late Night Buzz, and you know you mentioned the labels. You mentioned a lot of stuff that I always feel like at the end of it all, especially when it comes to just parts of the industry, the entertainment business, that this is a different world now. Now you're your own boss and you control your own house, I guess you can say. So back then it wasn't like that. Just the excitement, like just the industry as you see it right now. What is your opinion? Is it something that you would kind of stay leery, or are you actually comfortable in your own skin, being your own boss and directing your own traffic?
I'm comfortable with both, actually. You know what? The industry has changed a lot, but you got to go with the flow like anything else. I mean, at one point, all of us had phones. If you had a phone in your house, it had a cord on it. And then they changed the cordless. You know what I mean? It's so cool. Yep. We had TVs. We had to get up and manually change the channel at one point. Now you have a remote control, and that's been around for a long time, I know. But flat screens, you have a big TV go into a flat screen. Things change. You got to evolve with it. So I'm good with that. I mean, the industry has changed, but like I said, it's empowered us a lot. Like it kind of almost like it took the man behind the curtain is just a man, like the Wizard of Oz. They found out that it wasn't some mystical wizard. It was just this man who was telling you that you actually had it all along. You could figure things out for yourself. You just didn't know it. This industry will make you think that you have to depend on it because that's the way they train you, like I said. And we were brought into it when, at a time when the industry was still very important. And it was like, Big Brother overseeing everything. And now it's like, no, you know what? I have the direct line to my fans myself. I can talk to them myself. And and they'll come out and support or buy whatever I have most times. So, you don't need the middleman taking a big, huge chunk of your money. And if you do, like I'm talking to a few record companies right now. If you do talk to the record companies, you don't have to rely on them all the way. You know exactly. Now, the thing about being in an industry that I've been in, and as long as I've been in, I have the experience now to tell me okay, now you're offering me a deal. This is not how I'm coming. I'm not coming as an artist. I'm not coming as just an artist anymore. That was 1989. That's how I started out with the girls in the very beginning. I was just happy to be here. We were all kids. We were happy. No. Now I'm a grown woman. I've learned a lot. I've been beat up and kicked down, and now I stand up on my own, and I've dusted myself off, and I'm coming in, and I'm saying I want to come in as a joint venture or a label deal.
Right.
You're not going to throw an artist deal at me and say, just take those little points and be happy. That doesn't happen anymore. I'm way grown now, and I understand what it is, and I'll negotiate till it's right for both if you don't feel it's fair, but we're going to go back and forth until it's fair for both of us. I'm never going to take, again, those days are gone, of just taking what they're given and being happy with it. No. So,
and it's always good to be, it's always good, Dawn, to have a team of people that's not just, the yes team, the people that just say yes to you every single stretch, right?
Well, my mom has always been very real with me, and if she likes a song I've done, she'll tell me, that's good. I like you sound great. That works for you, and I love that for you. If it's not good, I don't know about that sound. She doesn't just say yes because she's my mom and she likes everything I do and I'm perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that about her because she'll tell me the truth. That's what you need. You know, if I'm not listening to the truth, then I can't grow, and I'm thinking everything's good, and it's so not. Oh, you got to get it together. You can be so wrong thinking you're stepping out the house looking good, and it's just like, no, that does not work for you. Take it off, or whatever it is that you do. Don't say that, or, people have to. If you don't have the right people telling you the truth around you, and you go off the deep end lots of times, and you just think, you can't do any wrong. And no man is an island. I always say that. Everybody needs the truth being told to them. A lot of people, a lot of athletes, I think, have, because they have so much money, and their agents are just going to tell them, yeah, everything's fine, when it's really not. It's just not.
Right.
You
right.
need the truth. Yeah.
Well, the truth that I have for you is the simple fact that, hey, I'm your unofficial, official team member. So whatever, I told this to Amy. So whatever you need, let me know. And and on the real, I was telling Amy, like, hey, if you guys need your car washed, if you need it waxed, whatever you need, I got you. I mean,
that's so kind. That is so kind
aside
of you.
from
I
your
love
records
that.
being played. No, and you know what?
Yeah.
And I'm joking, but I'm really not. I'm really not.
I
just for
know.
the simple fact that, I just really feel as a fan, we owe you something. And, by you sacrificing all that you do, we owe you the chance to be able to grind for you. So if we're going to grind for you, we gotta make sure that we do it. We assemble all the diehard Don fans, you know what I'm saying? And we go get our T-shirts and we go get our whatever we need and just go get it. We got social media, so we can reach out to all parts of the globe. Like China, you got so many fans out there in China that's really, really turned up right now. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm saying thank you, and I want you to know it's sincere. I mean it. It's not easy to, once you get the fan base, to keep the fan base. And so, and I tell people all the time, you guys are not just fans. You've been with our lives from the beginning. You know the stories of who Cindy's husband is and how many children she has, or, Maxine. You know a lot about us, and we've grown. You guys have grown with us. Some people were in college or in high school when we came out, and now they've had children. Their parents have passed away, or they're still alive, and they were together at the time, but they're not anymore. I mean, there's so much history that our fans have shared with us. So it really, to me, has become a family.
Indeed.
And I can't even express that more. And they're always shocked when it's actually me talking to them on Twitter. I've lost a couple of people thinking, this ain't really you. I'm like, okay, but how am I supposed to prove this to you? I'm not trying to prove it. You either believe me or you don't. And everybody, like the 14,000 people that are on here now, have believed it. They've been talking to me, and they have no problem with it. But you're the one to stand up and say, this ain't really you. Well, then don't ask me if it's me, because you're not going to believe me anyway.
Hey, a few times that we went back and forth on Twitter, and, people can follow Dawn on Twitter now, at Dawn Robinson with the underscore with it as well. And follow this young lady on Twitter, and I knew it was you because, I don't care what you tweet, type, sing, talk, like, I feel something. I feel something when
that's a lot
when your name is attached to it, so,
That is a lot, that you can feel someone's words, that you can feel their spirit through their, because I'm happy to hear you say that, actually, and I got to explain why. Because, like I said, I was concerned of how I would be edited and how people after that would perceive me based on the editing. So now that you say that, I'm really going back to what I said before, that people see me every day on Twitter, and they've seen me for the past year, tweeting something positive pretty much every day. and then I get on Facebook. Facebook doesn't respond as quickly, so I'm always on Twitter because it's like instant, and I get that feedback from people, and I feel like, okay, you're hearing me out there. But with Facebook, it takes people sometimes the midday to the end of the day to say something to me about what I tweeted. But I still put it up for that one or two people that are like, you know what, I needed to hear this today. I don't care. So I still put it up for them, but I do get an instant response from Twitter. So it's like instant messaging is. And I like that response, that, call and response, and I can talk to them right away. So, but they know me. That was my point. They know who I am. They're aware of me. And so when they see any antics on the show, or if they see anything that doesn't feel right, they're like, no, that's not real. Because I think people are getting wind of the fact that reality shows are, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's fun. It's and I want it to be, like I said, I want to inspire. I wanted it to be like I Am Dear Abby, and telling people their problems. They tell me their problems, and we relate together. Like, this is how I would deal with that situation, or this is how I have dealt with it because I've been through that, and blah 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 blah. And to me, like I said, when I first went to the meeting for LA Divas, I told the whole staff and the crew and the cast. I said, I want to do this show because I want to inspire. That's my whole thing. And I want people to know that, hey, yeah, I'm Dawn Robinson from En Vogue, but I go through breakups. I've been hurt. I've been physically abused. I'm not proud of that, but I got through it, and this is how I did that.
You're human.
I'm human, exactly. And because a lot of times people are thinking they're isolated and they're going through this alone, but there's that young 21-year-old whose boyfriend just abused her in some kind of way, whether it's verbally or physically, or even guys get verbally and physically abused and don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed. My little brother, I mean, people go through stuff, and I want people to know that we are all connected. We are all one human being, one human race. We may look different, come from different backgrounds, speak different languages, and gender and all that stuff, but we are human, and we're all connected. So I just wanted that to come across on the show, and I believe, I told Kelly the other night, I said I believe that it is going to come out that way. I think that the show, from what I've seen, I wanted to cry last night. Like, it was really beautiful to see the show. Like, okay, this isn't so bad. It was not as scary as you thought. I put up on the other day on Twitter about a week ago, I said, things are not always, like they say on the mirror on your car, your side mirrors, they'll say things are bigger than they appear.
Absolutely.
You know how it says that on your mirror? Yeah. And so that's what I always say in life. Things always seem so huge and overwhelming, and you're just like, how am I going to get through this? Oh, it's horrible. I can't. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Really, I'm telling myself this as I'm talking to you about it. Really, take a deep breath, because it really is not as bad as you think. But it always turns around, and if it's not cancer, and even if it is cancer, I've met so many people that said, you know what, I was diagnosed with cancer, I'm supposed to be dead, I'm 14 years cancer-free, I'm still here, and I'm like, oh, you're in remission. They're like, no, it's not in my body. I'm not claiming it, because they don't claim it. That's power. That's power. So I'm like, okay, words are power. When you put it out in the ether and you put it out in the universe, God hears everything. And that, if you say you're cancer-free, then damn it, you're cancer-free, So I try to do that, and that is exactly what I wanted my show to be. And that's going to be boring. People are on my page every day because they need to be inspired. They want to hear something positive that makes them feel good. There's enough negativity in this world. We all got it. We all feel it. Landlord knocking on your door. Bills want to be paid. This girl is tripping on you, or your wife, husband left you. I mean, we go through stuff enough. So I think people want to be inspired. So I stick with that. I'm not changing that. I'm just...
No, you have a good presence about yourself. When you're on Twitter, you're just like me. So if you check out some of the stuff I put on there, it's enough negative out there in this. Yeah. No, you haven't followed me yet, but there's enough negativity out there in the world. Like, I'm not gonna go on Twitter and complain. I mean, everything's blessed in my world. Everything's blessed in my world. Exactly. Like, negativity, go away. I'm good. Right. I'm good. Life is good. We got to do what we do. And I have a couple of ladies on my staff, and Late Night Buzz has the beautiful, talented music icon Dawn Robinson here with us. And I got to put one of my staff ladies on the line. Her name is Danaya, and she has a question for you as well. So, Danaya, you are on. Danaya.
Good evening, Miss Dawn Robinson. How are you?
Good evening, Danaya. Nice to meet you. I'm good. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. Absolutely love LA Divas. You guys did a phenomenal job. I can't wait to see the rest of the season.
Okay, I love it. Did you see the show last night?
I did. Oh my goodness, girl, I was sweet and going crazy about it. Yeah,
I'm
it was so
thrilled.
awesome because I was blessed to speak with Michelle A. last week, and then I spoke with Kelly Price yesterday. So I was just like, I gotta see this. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I love Michelle A. I'm sorry, just real quick, but on a side note, I really learned a lot more about Michelle A. Because, you know, when she came out, by the time Michelle A. came out, she was kind of leaving, and we were coming in. Well, no, she came in, oh boy, I'd say she was in before we got in, but when we came in and we were going strong, I say by the time Born to Sing came out, we were like, where's Michelle A.? You know, it's been a while, and she needs another album. So it's been a minute, and we really didn't know a lot about her. She wasn't doing interviews, the interview circuit, and all that stuff, so we really didn't learn a lot about her. And wow, what a wonderful spirit! I love her to death.
I
mean, she's
know,
so
right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, she really is so sweet and funny. She's hilarious. The girl's it's a riot.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She's naturally funny. I love her to death. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my question was, nowadays creativity in music is kind of dead. So what do you think happened when it came to creativity in music? A lot of the artists now sing all the same thing and they want to sound the same. What happened to being that person that was inspiring? What happened to being that artist that was unique? Like, what do you think happened to that in this industry?
Well, I would beg to differ, actually. I mean, I'm trying not to be politically correct and just say the right thing. I'm trying to be very honest, but I mean, for me to say that things have changed for the worse in a sense, and I'm thinking I love Rihanna stuff. I love Adele stuff. I love. There's not a lot of girl groups. There's no girl groups out right now, so.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, there's no girl groups at all. But I mean, it takes different types of music. Even when we were out and we were at the top of our game, I remember doing Free Your Mind during Free Your Mind that as it was on the air. Meaning the video was out, and it was hot, because they still play it, but you know what I mean, it was out at the time, and we had just released it, and people were asking, what do you think about the industry at this time? I mean, all this pop crap and these girl groups, and I'm like, no, there's a place for everything. That's the reason there is a pop division. You know what I mean? It's the major labels, and there's a pop section in BRE magazine, and there's a pop section in, you know, Billboard magazine. There's pop charts. I mean, come on, it exists for a reason. Everybody can't be. Not everybody is a crooner like Shaka Khan or a balladeer like Maxwell. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, there's places for everybody. And so, to me, yeah, the industry has changed. I've seen it. I think people need to get back to, because I think the label has a lot to do with that. They wanted something quick. They didn't want to spend as much money.
Yep.
And so they didn't get the real musicians to come in. And if you're coming in as a rap artist, rap changed the game too, because they have a lot of, they don't play live instruments until Jay-Z started doing that. I forgot who did it before him, but with live instruments, that really wasn't happening, so they had to sample James Brown. We sampled James Brown. Big Payback all day on Hold On. All day on Never Gonna Get It. Both of those songs have the same sample, they're in the same key, and I'm like, you guys really? But it worked. It worked.
It did. It did.
Yeah, you know, they were the first single off of both of those albums, and one was bigger than the other. The first one was huge. Hold On was like what introduced us, and bam, we set up the next album, Never Gonna Get It, and damn it if it didn't happen again, you know? So it's just, big payback. Thank you, James. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Lightning did strike twice. In a
big way, okay?
In
I
a
give
big way.
Denny and Tommy credit for that, but I give us credit because it was our voices that came together with their track, and it just worked. I just think, you know, people right now are not artists, live musicians. It costs a lot, like even with promoters. When I talk to promoters about doing a show, the promoters are like, okay, you're going to do a track show. That's what we have here. We can't accommodate a band. I'm like, you got to be kidding. I'm a real singer. You know that, right? And they're like, yeah, well, we can't afford to pay. And they're right. You got to fly out a whole band. That means flights for everybody. Most times it's across the country. You know, you got to fly everybody across country. You got to pay for their flights, hotel. You got to give them per diem, money per day, which means per diem is what that means. For those that don't know, you have to. Most times, venue will, if they have food there, you have to comp their meals. They come out of pocket quite a bit, but then they make money as well. You know, they got the bar, they got the people that pay to get in. So it's changed, but I think there's a lot of people that had to do with that. It's not the artists themselves. We're not being challenged to come live anymore. It's more cost-effective for me to have a track and just take one CD with me and have the guy push the button and push play, and I just sing the songs that people know and vibe with the audience, as opposed to me taking a whole band. But a whole band sounds much better.
Indeed.
There's no,
Absolutely.
there's no comparison with that. Okay,
Preach.
so
Live
no
band.
comparison.
Love it.
Live band. Yeah.
Love it.
But and that's why I was like, when I saw Snoop do that and Jay-Z, I was like, yes, y'all, what? Because you're challenging the game. You're changing the game too, I should say. And you know, they did that. So that was amazing. I mean, to me, it was like, wow, you guys stepped up and just did something so different. I can't say why things are where they are. I mean, again, maybe just call me silly, but I really like a lot of the stuff that's out now. Don't get me wrong. When I listen to Shaka Khan and I listen to Stevie Wonder and I play all that old stuff, I'm just like, where did this all go? I remember where I was when this happened, and this music was such a movement. You know, Donny Hathaway and Earth, Wind and Fire. Come on, I cannot say. But then you got Mint Condition.
Right.
You know, where there was Earth, Wind and Fire, you got Mint Condition that plays live instruments. They do not play when it comes to melodies, and Stokely is a beast on drums. He's a beast really on every instrument he can play, but he's really focused most times on either the drums or singing, you know?
Right.
So it is still there. You just kind of got to dig around. We got, you know, Angie Stone, I was going to say, Ari, what's her name? India.
India Ari.
Yeah, Music Soul Child. Come on. You got Flow Tree. Well, Flow Tree isn't together anymore, but you got Marsha. You got Lettucey. I mean, there is a lot of amazing artists out here, so it hasn't changed as much as you think. It's just, you know, the record company doesn't want to pay for the budget to put together the videos like they did, although we were the ones recouping. I don't know what they're afraid of. We were the ones in the red trying to pay for these videos to get done. But like I said, people are getting together and they're doing their own thing and taking their own careers in their hands. So I hope I answered your question. Long but short.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more the fact that, like, more I listen to more independent artists than anything else, because I think that's where most of the creativity is in. All these independent artists, that are just starting out and trying to get their foot in the door. They still have that hunger. They still have that power. You know.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, there are artists that I see that I'm just like, really? Are you? Because, you know, I work so hard, and I should say, as in Vogue, work so hard. We get up there and we rehearse. We don't just get up there and stand around either. We dance in heels, by the way, and sing at the same time. So we don't want to make ourselves too winded. We make sure that our choreography is in a place where we can actually still talk after we sing. If you're so winded that you got to sit down because you're going to pass out, that's too much choreography. So we take a lot of it and like tone it down. Like, that's too much dancing. Like, no. Let's just stand here and sing this one. Let's just, like, breathe and give the audience some. And, you know, so I do see artists that are not giving 100% like we used to. And, you know, but who am I to say? That's their time. That's their blessing. This is where they're supposed to be, and that's where God has them. Obviously, they're supposed to be there. I can't say they shouldn't.
Right. And before I put another staff member, Aaron, on, and Don Robinson as our guest on the Late Night Buzz, I think what you just said is a perfect point as far as the artists having talent but not developing that talent enough. I mean, they just kind of push them on stage and say, "Go do your thing," and you know, and they do their thing, and it's not you know, refined or defined, or, you know,
it's not
because, you know, Pebbles.
Yeah.
Right, and Pebble said that it took about a year before TLC was even, you know, out there. But, you know, it took time to develop them. So, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, everybody has talent, but it depends on how you nurture that talent and how it grows and develop. Because, you know, no one can be in Vogue. No one can have the songs you guys do. You can try, but it's
really
not
fun.
be.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, so much for that. But we were out right away. We didn't have a lot of time to get polished. We had to prepare for our first video. Once the album was finished, we had to prepare for Hold On. But we didn't have a lot of, like, sitting down doing interviews. I saw that with Lou Pearlman, who is now in prison for embezzlement. But he came up with Backstreet Boys, I want to say, also with Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and the group that Justin Timberlake comes from. No, Justin Timberlake.
NSYNC.
Okay.
NSYNC, thank you. Yes, NSYNC came out of, and he would sit down and do interviews with them and just watch and have them watch themselves and say, "What was wrong with that picture?" And they're looking at themselves like, "I think I was chewing gum," and the other one's like, "No, I was scratching my head and kept messing with my fingernails." And he's like, "No, look at your chairs. You had swivel chairs and you kept moving the chairs around, and that's distracting."
Right.
So stuff like that was like, wow, and I learned from that watching. I was like, wow, that's really, Barry Gordy had it set up like that. That's what he did with Motown. He had, people to teach you how to dance, how to hold your hands when you dance. Even the guys, the Temptations learned to hold their hands in a certain way from their choreographer.
Mm-hmm.
That, and how to speak for the young ladies, how to cross your legs a certain way, and when, the appropriateness. Has left the industry, but we weren't even taught that stuff. We just happened to have people around us that really kind of polished us up because we were rough when we came out. If you look at the first album cover, Born to Sing, Terry, first of all, we have on church suits. Okay, they are white sheer church suits. We just were a mess. I look at that now and I'm thinking, what? Wow, in Vogue, you guys really, it's so sad. Terry's tooth, she had hit it on a microphone in college and chipped the tooth in half and never replaced it. So on the cover, people were like, "Oh, her tooth! Oh my goodness!" And she's just smiling. She's country, country with a K. She didn't know any better. She was happy, but she said she didn't mind it either, so she was comfortable. But we were polished by wonderful people. We had a team. Roberto Leon happened to be doing our hair, and he was the first person we met. He was our glam squad, and we were like listening to everything he said. And he was like, first of all, we have to get rid of, he was a queen. He said, we have to get rid of your makeup artist. She's tired. So he got rid of her. We said, what? We want to graduate to the next level. And he was at that level, but she was not. She really, really wasn't. We wouldn't have just done it because he said to. We looked at it and we said, you know what? Because Maxine didn't like her makeup anytime we did anything. So he had someone else come in and do it and said, now that's how makeup should be done. And she was like, we were like, yeah. She's flawless. She looks amazing. So we knew to get to the next level, we had to do that, and we did it. So we had people, Frank Gatson, amazing choreographer, just polished us up, and that walk that we have, never going to get it at the end. I wait for that just to watch us walk in the rain. It is amazing. At the end of the video, it's that kind of stuff that really made En Vogue set us apart, or really we set up the whole, all the girl groups came after us, meaning, TLC, Brownstone, Jade, Destiny's Child. Everybody came after us. Of course, there were the other greats that were before us, like the Supremes and the Sister Sledge and the Emotions and all of them. But, once we hit in the 90s, it was kind of like time. I think things go in cycles. And it was time for new girl groups to come along because there were really not too many R&B groups anyway in the 80s and 90s. So here we come, and it's like, yeah, En Vogue is on the scene. In the 90s, actually, in the 90s. So in the 80s, there weren't a lot of them. Expose was out, but those that was the pop side of things. So here we come with R&B world, it was like, wow. And it was because of the people around us, though, I got to say. They polished us up, and God.
And for the fact that, like you said, once that album was done, you guys were thrusted upon to the music scene, and, no turning back. That's rare in itself, like you said. Any groups that become groups now, or when you look back for past groups, that's a good legacy to be able to still have multiple hits, and people can still, have these kind of feelings that they feel when you listen to certain songs, too. So it's amazing.
Exactly.
Let me go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
Let me go ahead and add Miss Erin into the Late Night Buzz Conversations staff member right here. Erin, as you are on with Dawn Robinson.
Hello, Erin.
Hello, Dawn. How are you?
Hi. I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much.
This is such a surreal moment because I grew up with you. I've been there since the beginning. I saw you guys in concert when you were with MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice.
Okay. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Ashley. You said Ashley, right?
I'm sorry.
Your name is Ashley, right? You said your name is
Erin.
Aaron, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
You took it back to the beginning.
You know what? You're Don Robinson. You can call me whatever you want.
No, I can't. I don't want to say your name. No.
You can call. You can even call me Colette. You can call me whatever.
Okay, that's hilarious. No, you took it back to the genesis of En Vogue. I mean, you went back to the first tour we ever did. Okay, just now.
Yeah. I was there. In
that's
Gainesville,
sad.
Florida.
And you know what? I was just telling someone the other day that our outfits were we were just backwards. We were so wrong, and we didn't know we were bumping into each other. It was terrible. Bumping into each other, and we didn't know our
you guys
yet. You know.
My mother's best friends came with us, and her husband was so in love with you. Like, ridiculous. And it kind of brings me to my question I have for you as well.
Hey, he got to stand in line, though. He got to stand in line. I'm first, so just FYI.
We know, Brand. We know you are first.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
That's cute.
Well, and it also, because I started thinking about one of my favorite skits on In Living Color was the one you guys did with Jamie Foxx.
Yes,
and how he was acting with you guys. I mean, that was hilarious. And it kind of all morphed into my question that what is the craziest thing a fan has ever done for you? You know, to get to you or to be near you, or, you know, what's the craziest thing, you know, you've come across?
Okay, I just thought of something. I had two different scenarios, and I was like, I'm going to pick the best one. I was in a hotel in St. Louis. I'll never forget. It was St. Louis, because, you know, you're in hotels every night. You wake up and you're like, what city is this again? Indianapolis? No, Chicago. Right. You know, you got to be careful when you're on stage saying the name of the city and you're in the wrong one. But I was in St. Louis. Yeah, it's been bad. I've done it. All of us have. And I was in St. Louis. I ordered room service. I had taken my shower. I was waiting for the food to come because I knew if I started putting lotion and all that stuff, it would take so long, and I wouldn't be able to answer the door. So I just waited in my robe for them to come to the room. And the knock on the door, I looked out, and there was a guy with the tray table, and you know, then I opened the door, and he's like, I just want to put this tray in here. Oh, my God, it is you. It is you. And then two other people walk in with him.
Whoa.
Behind him. They were sitting on, I couldn't even see them in the peephole. They were on either side, and that was scary, too, because I told we had security on the road with us at that time. He said, yeah, we got to put you guys on the aliases now. At that point, they changed our names on the list, but yeah, there were two other people with him, and she said, well, I had to bring the utensils because I had to see En Vogue. You my En Vogue. And,
oh, my goodness.
And I said, so what are you doing here? He said, I just brought some water. I just want to see the prettiest girl on the roof. I was like, well, thank you very much, guys, but I'm in my robe. I just want to pay for my food because I have sound check at 4. I mean, I had to explain to them why they had to leave the room. So, yeah, that was hilarious. Like, you brought a fork and you brought a spoon, and you all had to come up together and give me my food.
No way.
Yeah, they could have put it all on one tray. The table was there. It had plenty of room. And they all came with something different. Yeah, that was funny. That's probably one of the funniest things.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
Oh, I just wanted to say that you are attached to so much sweet nostalgia for me, and it's an honor to speak with you. It really, really is.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much, you guys. Gratitude can't say. I keep telling God he needs to come up with a new word for us to say thank you, because I say it so much, but I mean it in the deepest way, really. I hear those things, and I'm like, wow. Oh, you know, I keep telling my mom, one minute I was in her bedroom, in the back bedroom. You know, I had just gotten out of college 2 years prior, and I was trying to figure my life out. I didn't want to go to college. My best friend had gone to college, and she was away, and I couldn't figure my life out. And Mom kept saying, get a trade, get something going with this computer thing. I don't know what the new wave is, but it seems like it's going in that direction. And I was, Mom, I don't want to. I want to sing. Go to a concert, and bam, now everyone knows my name. So it's just, it freaks me out still now. I am no different than the dawn in my mother's bedroom. I'm just a lot older. But I still feel so grateful. I do. When I hear the stories, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And as we get ready to close with Dawn on the Late Night Buzz, I gotta tell you, you know, so many people is itching for that $1 million question. You know, music in the future, yes.
Oh yeah. music in the future. I have a lot of music I've recorded. I'm starting to put things together. Even before LA Divas hit the air last night, people were asking me, like I said, I was talking to record companies, so I'm grateful for that because I haven't been in the major scene. Even walking down the hallways in the major label, it's like, okay, I remember this feeling. I remember this. Now I'm coming back wiser, stronger, and able to, really. And I don't want to dictate. I still think you need a team of people together around you to make everything work. But now I'm coming in knowing what I want and speaking up for that. So I think it should make for a better album. When it does come out, it's going to be amazing. I love my solo album, but that wasn't me putting it together. The one that's out, the one you just played, Set It Off from. Yeah, it was kind of the wrong time and the wrong label because they folded immediately after I signed, and it was during the 9/11 situation. So Joey McIntyre was the only other artist on that label, and he was just like, Dawn, they're getting ready to kill my album because I had New York girls on my record, and I wanted to put. He had it in mind to put all the girls on TRL on MTV on TRL. He wanted to put them in T-shirts and say New York Girl on the front of the T-shirt and hand them to all the girls just for the pride of New York. 9/11 had just happened. And he was like, wait a minute, they're going to kill my career because that was the best idea he had. And I said, it is a brilliant idea. If they're doing that to you, though, Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block, if they're doing that to you, Joey, they're definitely not going to know what to do with me. And that's when I was like, okay, this is not the right place to be. But I'm grateful for that album. I would have put it together different, and the songs that went on, they're okay. I love Set It Off, and I love Get Up Again, number 4, and a few others, but those two really touch me. So, yeah, when I come with new music, hopefully I would say in the next 7, I wouldn't even put a date. I'm just going to say there will be new music, because there will.
And you know what? We're going to celebrate it, so hopefully we'll be able to hear it here and celebrate it and continue this legacy you got going. And before we say goodbye, I gotta tell you that there's not too many people that will have my heart racing and I have an out of body experience like the experience that I have, because it just a lot of people, like I said before, tend to take your art form for granted. And real fan, not really fans, but people that follow your legacy and appreciate exactly what you do, I feel like it's important for us to really own it, and we do. And it's just not too many people can just say, you know what, thank you for everything that you have gone through to give us what you've given us. So, Dawn, thank you.
Yeah, I understand, and I appreciate that again. Thank you. Like I said, I would still I could be Dawn Robinson, the accountant, who does great work, but, only a certain amount of people know me, and I'm just so grateful. It's like worldwide, people know my name. It trips me out even till this day. And again, it's because of you guys putting our stuff out there and talking about us and wanting to talk to how can you get mad? Because some people don't like doing interviews and they get an attitude. I'm like, who are you to get an attitude because people want to talk to you and they're intrigued by your life? How can you be mad at that? That's so, amazing. I have 7 interviews to do today. What is your day like? Well, I got to be at work at 8 o'clock, because that's most people, getting up at 6 to be at work by 8 o'clock, going through traffic to be at work, got to take their kids and drop them off at school or get on the bus and get to work. And what do we have to do in a day? Oh, I have 7 interviews. Really? I'm angry about that? No. So I'm just grateful. I want to express my gratitude to you guys and the fans as well.
Indeed. And you can follow Dawn on Twitter at Dawn Robinson _. And also shout out to Miss Amy. And you can follow Amy on Twitter at GIC Amy on Twitter.
Amy, exactly. She's my publicist, for those that don't know. Yes, and thank you, Amy, too.
And Dawn, you rock. I love you. You are the best.
Thank you so much. I'll come back and do an interview with you guys anytime. You just tell Amy.
You know what?
That's what's up.
And Dawn, let me extend this olive branch to you as the season continues on R&B Divas LA, which is on TV1 Wednesdays, 10/9 Central. Anything that you feel like you need to come back on and have the floor with hundreds of thousands of listeners worldwide, this is your home. So
okay.
Come back on here anytime you want to.
I sure will. Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? Exactly. Hey, guys, we're doing again. You'd be like, oh, please, she's calling again. You told her to call. Yeah, thank you for that. My hand over heart. I'm serious. Thank you very much right now.
And we will continue to push it. Like I said, it's Team Dawn over here. So, you know, even though we got our thing and we do what we do, it's Team Dawn 110%. So,
thank you so
Ms.
much,
Dawn Robinson,
guys.
music icon, I thank you, my dear, for calling into the show, hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking to you, Ma.
It was totally a pleasure. All mine. Thank you so much. I've been smiling the whole time. My face hurts. Thank you very much.
Hey, we're going to continue that love, so we're going to keep your face hurting in. That's what we do here. That's what we do.
Exactly. I love it.
Love you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.